Good morning. Welcome back. Just wait. Good morning. It is definitely still morning here. I'm tired. I couldn't sleep last night. I was up late. Okay. I'm just gonna wait like one more minute, see if people get on. And then we'll get started. Trying to decide. Hi everyone. Okay, so today we're gonna do back stitch on a rainbow and then just some straight stitches for the little yellow flowers. Have you done a rainbow with pearl cotton? I have not. I've only used a pearl cotton one time. I just did a monogram for my friend's daughter and I did her initial with the pearl cotton. That's the first time I've ever used it. I liked it. So I need to plan something else with that. It's nice. I like it. I only have black though. I don't even know why I bought it. I bought it for something specific and then I never ended up using it. So it's just sitting there. I think I bought it so that I had different texture if somebody wanted like an all black outfit on a Stitch People portrait. But it just sits, so. But I think it would work really well for the rainbow because it would be nice and thick. I think it would just be hard. It might get a little too thick because some of these stitches are a little close together, but it could be cool. You might just have to spread it out if that's what you're thinking you want to use. Okay, so a few housekeeping things. I have my computer up so that I can see your comments. So if you have questions while I'm stitching, just comment below. If I need to zoom out or zoom in or repeat something, let me know. I can do all of that. I have it up so I can see. So if any of that happens, let me know. I will upload this without captions and then with captions after. So I'll have like two uploads of the same video. So there'll be like day 1 and day 1 CC with closed captions. So, and then there's also the sampler. So there's a lot of videos that upload every day. If you're having troubles finding something, let me know. If you're watching this not live and have questions, you can comment below the video and I'll get back to you, or direct message me. And I will get to those as soon as possible. I generally have my phone with me all the time. So yeah. I think it's time to get stitching. So let's do it. Let me just get this video turned around and into my holder here. Okay. So I'm gonna do this sideways so that, because I've got this going on. So I'm gonna start at the top up here. Okay, so I'm going to do the pastel colors for this. So I'm gonna use 3716, but if you're doing the bright colors, it's gonna be the 666. Or whatever colors you chose on your own. I know there's some people that chose their own colors. I don't put my thread on bobbins, so this is how my thread is saved, just like this. So today we're gonna use all 6 strands Some days we'll split it up, but not today. So if you're a beginner, you want to find the end of the thread that has the number so that this will pull out nicely. If you use this end, then you're gonna get knots and stuff. So don't do that. Pull from here. So I like to pull all the way 1, 2. That's about the length of my arm. And that seems like a good length to stitch with, especially if you're a beginner. So don't feel like you need tons. Okay, so what I like to do is wet my thread with my tongue, and then I spread these out a little and smash them between 2 fingers so that they get nice and flat. And then thread my needle. And you're gonna hear me say this, but I don't care about knots. So I knot mine on the back side. And if you're a more experienced stitcher and you don't like to knot yours, then don't. I don't care. So what we're gonna do first is just our top part of our rainbow. We're gonna do a back stitch, and then we'll move down to the flowers. Let me just tighten this a little. Okay, so a back stitch. The most basic stitch. I'm gonna go out just, that's probably fine. Okay, so what we're gonna do is come up from the back. And we want these to be fairly small stitches because it goes in a curve. And so to follow that curve, we're gonna need smaller stitches or else it's gonna look really blocky. So I like about this length. And then with a back stitch, you want to make sure that you are keeping all of your stitches about the same length, like as close as you can. So our first stitch is gonna be a forward stitch, and then we're gonna go and do it backwards. So we're gonna start at this end and then go backwards. So we're gonna put it back in this same hole. What kind and size needle do you like? So this is a DMC size 5. That's my go-to. I have a few others that sit on my needle minders that I use, but for embroidery, this is my go-to. So we're gonna start at the back and then we're gonna go into this same hole. And that is your first back stitch. So then we're just gonna keep doing that. Keeping these about the same length and moving backwards to create a line. Do I need to zoom in more? So we're just gonna do this all the way across our rainbow. Doesn't matter what hoop size you went with. I would go 6 strands every time with for this. I don't think that you need to go with less strands for a back stitch. Some of these other stitches will use less, but not a back stitch. Okay, I just want to show you. Okay, so that is a proper back stitch. So one thing that I like to do is to save thread. It's a little bit of a sickness. It's like, I don't know, I hate wasting threads. So one thing that I like to do is alternate between a forward stitch and a back stitch. So I just finished this back stitch. I came up here and I went down here. So I'm just going to, what I normally do when I'm stitching not on video is now I'll do a forward stitch. So because I went down here, I can come up here and it kind of creates just a loop underneath, and then I can go forward. And then I do backwards again. So over here, so it's just every other one. It just saves a tiny bit of thread and it makes me feel better. So then I'll do a forward. You just have to keep track of what you did last, because if you try to, like if I try to go up here, that's just barely where I went down. And so it'll just undo that stitch, or it'll knot my thread. So if you're gonna do this, just pay attention to where you're at if you're on a forward or a backwards. And just pay attention to your stitch size. I tend to get bigger as I go along, so I really have to watch myself, or else I start getting bigger and bigger stitches as I get to the end. So I'll show you the back of this when I get to the end and show you the difference on the back, because it's kind of funny. Back stitch is like the stitch that everything is built on. I feel, not always, but, oh shoot, that wasn't crooked. Hold on. Rethread my needle. But a lot of other stitches are built on a back stitch. So not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, Wednesday, I don't know, a few days, there will be a few days that we will build on a back stitch. So like a whipped back stitch and a break stitch, and what else do we have going on? I don't know. Anyways, we'll just build on it so that we do different things with it. Almost to the end. So I am stitching, if you watched the transfer video, I have a circle that's my 7-inch hoop. I took a 7-inch hoop and I drew what the edge, like the edge of my 7-inch hoop. So I'm stitching in an 8-inch hoop. So when I finish this, the hoop will cover up the ends of the rainbow so that it'll like be all the way to the edge. Rethreading my needle hurts my soul. I don't love it either. And if I wasn't on video, I probably would have tried to just come back up the same hole without making a knot and just undoing that. I hate rethreading my needle. I am in full agreement. All right. One more stitch, and then I'll flip this over. Okay. So what we have here is the end. So you can see my 7-inch circle Okay, so this is really close to the edge. That's also why it's a little easier to stitch in a bigger hoop this time around because of how close it is. So if I had room, I'd probably circle under here and create a knot, but because we're so close to the edge of the hoop, I'm not gonna. So what I'm gonna do is tie a knot like this and then use my needle to hold this extra thread down at the bottom so that that knot will be really close to the edge. It's hard to do without my hands in the way because I want that knot down so that that thread is not loose. Oh man, see, I didn't quite do it. Hold on. Just try again. I'm trying to do it so that you can see it. There we go. And then we can trim that. Okay. Oh, I'm close to the edge of the camera anyways. Okay, so if you can see, this is a proper back stitch. That's how the back looks. And then this is when I started going that forward stitch, back stitch. So that's kind of what the backs will look like. It's really clean right now. It might not stay that way. I always try to keep a clean back, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let me take out my hoop. I gotta move it so that I can see the flowers. All right, zoom out a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna do these yellow ones. I'm gonna use 3078. If you're doing the bright colors, you're gonna wanna go with 973. We're gonna use all 6 strands. Yes. So I'm gonna do the same. I'm just gonna pull this twice. Oh, there's a knot in there. I'll fix that later. Okay. Let me see if I can get... I'll start over here, then I'll move it. So you can do these flowers one of 2 ways. Since I do a knot at the end of mine, I will never start in the middle because that will cause problems. Because we're going to use that middle so many times that if there's a knot there, it's going to be an issue. So I'm going to start, I like to pay attention to where my knots are. Like I don't want to start over here because this is a blank space and then you'll be able to see the end of my needle or the end of my, like you'll be able to see the knot. So I like to start where there's going to be other stitches, but that it won't get in the way. So I don't want to start down here where the stem is because then there'll be a knot where my stem is. I might overthink this, but it's fine. So I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to start over here so that it's by this stem. Like there'll be other thread there to kind of cover it up. And I didn't draw these very straight, so I'm just not using them much. If you used a pencil, like a regular pencil, then stay on whatever lines you drew because they'll be hard to cover up, but these will erase, so I'm not worried about that. So we're just gonna start at the edge and go to the middle. And then I like to do the opposite side as well. So I'm making a straight line, and then I'll do another and create an X. I really struggle with random, so I have to start with a bit of a not random. So I have my X. This hole is going to start to get really full of thread. So sometimes I'll come just like right next to it instead of in the exact same hole and kind of create two spots to put my threads in. But you want them as close as possible. I'm not planning on putting a center on this flower. I just wanted it all yellow. So if you're an experienced stitcher, you can pick your own center if you want to do that. Or at the end of next week, I will show you things that you can do to add extra things if you want to. Oh, my needle is having a hard time going through. There's a lot going on down there. Come on, thread. There we go. Okay, so I usually do the 6, and then I'll kind of do some random ones. So with these kinds of flowers, I like to do some shorter and some longer. I don't worry about whether these are all the same length or not. I want it to kind of look natural. And so I just do, this is where I start to put in random stitches. So sometimes I'll just do like one long one right in the middle. Sometimes I'll just do a short one. If I have a bigger gap, like this one has a little bit of a bigger gap, so I'm gonna try and sneak 2 in there just to mix it up. If you used pencil, then for sure just stay on whatever lines you did first and then add to it if you want to afterwards. So I like to keep this mostly round. But just make it kind of full and fun. There's a lot of threads back there. Try somewhere else. All right, I'm just gonna do one more. All right, there we go. So another way you can do this if you want, you could just go all the way like straight across. So I'll do that over here. I like it to have kind of a center, like so I can see where these went in. But you don't have to. So because this is such a small gap, I'm not going to tie it off and start new. I'm just going to move my needle over. I'm just going to do all the way across. And then make my X. This is just going to make your center kind of puffy. So it just gives it a little bit of a different look. So sometimes if I've done this, I want more petals, but I don't want to keep building up this center because it will kind of start to dome a little bit. So I'll come in and just do my extra stitches and just stick them under so that where it goes down is hidden by the other stitches. So then I can have some extra petals, but without building up that center more. So just move those out of the way and stick it back down in there. Or you could go and tack these down in the center. This is where you can get a little bit more creative and do what you want. So I'm gonna do some little ones over here. So the finished one that I posted yesterday, I just did all across. So if you want to see what that looks like, look up yesterday's post. Okay. There you have some little fluffy yellow flowers. I like the way this one looks better. I might take this one out. But I'm gonna let you do these last two on your own. There's just one over on the edge and one in the middle. So you finish those ones on your own and I will finish mine on my own so we can come back together tomorrow to do those. Let's see, tomorrow we are going to do a running stitch for our rainbow and these little purple flowers down here. So get ready for that and let me know how it goes. If you post your progress, I forgot to say this on the rainbow sampler. If you post on social media and tag me, then I'll share it in my stories so we can see everyone's progress. So either tag me, my munsmade.sal, or you can use the hashtag munsmadesal, stitch along. And I would love to see your progress, and I'm sure the others would like to as well. So beginner, advanced, I don't care. I want to see how it's going. If you're a private account, I won't see it, so you can send me a direct message with your progress, and I would love that. So anyways, I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to stitch in the evening. 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time is when I'll start the sampler. And then it will be a really fast day for the sampler because a running stitch is really fast. So 10 or 15 minutes, and then just give me 2 or 3 minutes to get that down and set this up. And we will start this about 7:15, 7:20. And yeah, that's it. So have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you tomorrow.